For that picture is that the maids have to put them back exactly like it's in that picture. He said if they don't, he shouts and screams and abuses them. And then a maid came out and confirmed that. She had to do that. Otherwise, he would shout and scream. So, you know, that's not really the actions of a sort of a nice person, you know, to have people having to do that. He's a very self-entitled person. I mean, more so than any member of the royal family. He stuck out like a sore thumb. No one liked him.
Talking about Prince Andrew and people visiting him, who have you seen visiting Prince Andrew?
Well, the one that I said publicly about 14 years ago was Ghislaine Maxwell. She was a very frequent guest of Prince Andrew. The setup with her was, most guests, as I say, 9 to 5, Buckingham Palace is like a working building. So you'll have guests coming in and out to see members of the royal family. So the setup is, at the front gates, you've got police officers, and then you've got more police officers inside the building at the front. So the private secretaries of different members of the royal family will ring down to this office called the Privy Purse, and they will give them all the appointments for the day for each member of the royal family. So on one particular occasion, the officer in the Privy Purse phoned down a list of appointments for this day. One appointment for Prince Andrew, we were told a female guest was attending, I think about 1 o'clock lunchtime, but her name is not to be entered into the appointments book. So we asked why. We were told her name was Ghislaine Maxwell. And then obviously we realised she was the daughter of Robert Maxwell. So we thought, yeah, obviously it's not a good look for her to attend the palace the Queen's in. If it got out into the public domain, it could be embarrassing. About an hour later, we walked through, we were relieved from post to walk back to the police lodge, and we walked into the garden, the back garden of Buckingham Palace, where the Queen's private apartments overlook. And to our right, on the grass by the summer house, was a picnic being set up by footmen and maids. On our way back from the police lodge, about an hour later, Prince Andrew was sitting with Ghislaine Maxwell having this particular picnic. And again, we said if the Queen looks out of the window and realises that's Ghislaine Maxwell sat outside on her grass, she probably wouldn't be too happy. That was the first time that I encountered her. But after that, it was the same routine. She was just allowed to. We were told not to stop her. If she was coming into the palace, she was allowed to just come straight through security, and she would go straight into the quad where Prince Andrew's private door is. She was a regular visitor, and I said this before. A colleague of mine noted that she'd come into the palace and out of the palace 4 times in one day. So she was had carte blanche to enter and exit. No one else did. No one had that sort of facility apart from members of the royal family. And to us, as police officers, seeing this on a daily, weekly basis, we formed the opinion that there was some form of relationship going on between the pair.
Have you seen any other female guests coming to Prince Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, that 9 to 5 is the office working hours when everyone we have to have their names. That was the only one occasion where we were not given the name until we asked for it. After 5 o'clock, the palace shuts, there's no more appointments, so it's private engagements, sort of like guests of the Queen, like friends and stuff like that, who may pop in, or Prince Philip might have a friend coming in. And Prince Andrew used to have many frequent female visitors after 5 p.m, up to 11 p.m. at night. The usual form was for us not to ask any questions. We were not given the names of most of the ladies that were attending. They would turn up at the front of the palace, say they're here to see Prince Andrew. We would ring his footman, his personal footman, and they would come down and we would let the females through. No checks, no names, and just let them straight through into the palace to meet the footman, where they would then be taken up to Prince Andrew. Obviously, this is a clear breach of security because we need to know who's in the palace. And we do get people turn up saying they're here to see the Queen, but they're not, they're just mentally challenged. So the idea of people turning up saying they're here to see Prince Andrew and we just letting them in is